Okay, hi, I'm Jeff Bailey, and this is workbook lesson number 133. Before we jump into the lesson, I wanted to share just a little bit about the yoga. And this morning I was reflecting on the word yoga, one of my favorite words. Yoga means to join, as you probably know. And, and so that makes the practice of yoga a verb. We practice yoga as a way of removing the obstacles, removing the blockages, to love's presence, the oneness we share in heaven as an extension of the mind of God. That's the perfect relationship between the Father and the Son. And, uh, and so we can think of yoga as the practice that leads us in that direction. But then if you look in the Upanishads and the Advaita Vedanta, the way it speaks to the word yoga there, it often speaks to the word yoga as a noun. Yoga is joined. Yoga is the unity that we seek. As I was contemplating that, I realized if yoga is oneness, and oneness is love, and love is God, yoga is the unification with God. Yoga joins. So it's just a beautiful word. It's because it represents this beautiful idea where practice and goal are the same. See, we practice. Well, the means and the goal must be the same. I, I practice peace to learn peace. I practice love to learn love. Or the way the Course puts it, I teach love in order to learn it. And if you haven't gone back into the Manual for Teachers, you might look at the sections that speak to this. And one of the sections that I love reading over and over and over are the characteristics of God's teachers. Oh my gosh, 10 amazing characteristics, all built on trust. So go back to that, and then we can think of our yoga as the practice and the joining with God, and that makes us all yoga teachers. Okay, that's pretty cool. That was another aha that I had this morning. We're all yoga teachers. Well, anybody who can raise their hand and say, I want to learn love. How do I learn love? I teach it. I want to know peace. How do I know peace? I teach it. I want to know God. How do I know God? I become a teacher of God. And if yoga equals God, then that makes us all yoga teachers. All right. I hope you appreciate that. And speaking of the yoga, you know, find a shape that works for you, please. Put your legs up on the wall, bring your knee to your chest, put your arms out to the side, turn your head to one side, sit back in the chair. Something that might just put a little bit of fresh sensation into your body as a symbol of the freshness of love's presence coming through in the power of now. So maybe you can find that shape and then close your eyes and let these words land on your heart as we make our way through A Course in Miracles, workbook lesson number 133. I will not value what is valueless. Good advice. Sometimes in teaching there is benefit, particularly after you have gone through what seems theoretical and far from what the student has already learned, to bring him back to practical concerns. I love that. We learn theory, we can learn philosophy, but we always, always, always want to bring it back to some practical application. This we will do today. We will not speak of lofty, world-encompassing ideas, but dwell instead on benefits to you and me. You do not ask too much of life, but far too little. Wow, that's true humility. True humility would ask a lot of life. whereas arrogance isolates and picks. I want this. I want that. I want more of that. And the Course would say, no, 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 no. That's not enough. In fact, what you really want is everything. All right, we're getting to that. When you let your mind be drawn to bodily concerns, to things you buy, to eminence as valued by the world, you ask for sorrow, not for happiness. This Course does not attempt to take from you the little that you have. See a little humor coming through there. No matter how much you have, you could have trillions of dollars in your bank account, and Jesus would still say, no, you just have a little. It does not try to substitute utopian ideas for satisfactions which the world contains. There are no satisfactions in this world. See, and this fits so beautifully with the Advaita, Vedanta, and the spiritual thought systems that endorse the idea of Maya or illusion, and that there are no satisfactions in this world. See, isn't that's the essence of Buddhism? You know, at the root of all suffering is attachment. So we're being gently asked to detach from the world and claim what has always been. Today, we list the real criteria by which to test all things you think you want. Unless they meet these sound requirements, they are not worth desiring at all, for they can but replace what offers more. The laws that govern choice you cannot make, no more than you can make alternatives from which to choose. The choosing you can do, indeed you must, but it is wise to learn that the laws you set in motion when you choose and what alternatives you choose between. So the trick is beginning to realize there are no real choices in form. So often we get this idea that God granted free will to us so that we could make choices. And that's not what free will is all. In fact, that's imprisonment. It's not free will. There's a section in the Course where it asks us to look deep and recognize that to some degree we all will get to a place where we feel imprisoned here, no matter how much choice we think we have. So the real choice, the true choice, is the only one we have between fear and love, between separation and joined unity. And as we make that choice for joined unity, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, all else will be added unto you. That's the answer. As we seek to make the ongoing choice, unity, 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 or kindness, kindness. It's always kind. It's always generous. Not in worldly terms, but it's generous in heart. That's the joining. And it just deepens and deepens and deepens. That is the providing thought. That's the providing light. All else will be added unto you. So we, in the world as bodies, we get it all upside down. We want, want, want. We get. We work, work, work to get things around us, and we're on the treadmill. And what Jesus is asking us to do here is step off the treadmill. Now, you don't want to slow it down. You don't want to get better at running. You want to get off of it and find the stillness and make the one true choice where all is provided, because all is guided. And here we go. We have already stressed there are but two. However, many there appear to be. Talking about the choice. The range is set. Don't you love that? The range is between two. The range is set, and we cannot change that. It would be most ungenerous to you to let alternatives be limitless and thus delay your final choice until you had considered all of them in time and not been brought so clearly to the place where there is but one choice that must be made. So, in any given instant, we can choose between time and eternity, between love or fear. And so what he's saying here is that eventually, sooner than later, we want to realize there is but one choice, because the other one is false. And the choices that the results of the choices that we seem to make in form bear no fruit. We may get stuff and we may get things, but there's no real fruit. There's no real life there. So, but one choice must be made, and that is the choice for truth. Another kindly and related law is that there is no compromise in what your choice must bring. It cannot give you just a little, for there is no in between. Each choice you make brings everything to you or nothing. Therefore, if you learn the tests by which you can distinguish everything from nothing, you will make the better choice. All right. So, no compromise. There is no compromise in what the choice we make must bring. Choose fear, fear is what you get. Choose lack, and emptiness is what you experience. Choose love, and wholeness is what you experience. There's no compromise between the two. Ken Wapnick would often use the idea of that you can't be just a little bit pregnant. There's no such thing as being partially pregnant. You're either pregnant or not. And I find that a helpful metaphor for this idea. I'm either joined in unity or not. Remember, no neutral thoughts. Okay, so he's giving us the instruction to make the better choice. First, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. A temporary value is without all value. Time can never take away a value that is real. What fades and dies was never there, and makes no offering to him who chooses it. He is deceived by nothing in form he thinks he likes. I always think of the Mona Lisa, probably one of the most famous masterpieces of all time, painted as a symbol of true hope, true happiness, and true knowing. Because if you look at the Mona Lisa, like we all do, people, if you've ever been to the Louvre, people line up for hours to see the Mona Lisa. And then we take it in and we wonder what, and the great mystery about Mona Lisa, what is she smiling at? Well, it's the perfect smile that says, I know. How does she know? Because the painter knew. See, so his work was a reflection of his own thought. And it was beautifully, artfully portrayed. That's what makes this a classic and timeless painting, of which there are many. And what makes something classic is that it points to the truth. What is classic but something that points to that which is eternal? But paintings are symbols of ideas and do not last. No matter how much we protect it, no matter how much glass, and no matter how much we pull the oxygen out of the space that holds the Mona Lisa, It is temporary. It will not last forever. But what it points to does. It also reminds me of the introduction to A Course in Miracles. You know, first, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose or chose is valueless. The introduction to A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. And so we keep coming back to that idea that we want to choose value. And if it can be threatened, anything in form can be threatened by time, by gravity, by force, whatever. It's not real. So we go for the value. Next, if you chose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. This is because when you deny his right to everything, you have denied your own. When we imprison another, we imprison ourselves. You therefore will not recognize the things you really have, denying that they are there. Who seeks to take away has been deceived by the illusion loss can offer gain. Yet lost must offer loss and nothing more. So it violates the one law of the universe. You could say it's the law of love, and that is that which is given increases. God's love is constantly increasing because it's given. And as creations of God, it's our yoga, it's our job to extend it. So as we give the love away, it grows, and we have that feeling of growth and fullness and wholeness within us. But the moment I hold and cling and take back and protect and build boundaries and build walls, or point my finger and say, no, you can't have that. No. It's a self-imposed limit. A true gift is truly given. So when we give a gift to another, we give it wholly, we give it permanently, we give it eternally as a reflection of the boundless love that is what we are. And then when we receive a gift, whether we like the gift or not, whether it has practical value to us or not, is completely irrelevant. I want to be a graceful receiver and receive the boundless love that the gift represents. Big or small, how much money the thing cost or not is irrelevant. It's a symbol of the love behind it, the same way a ring is a symbol of eternal love. You lose the ring, keep the eternal love always. Your next consideration is the one on which the others rest. Why is the choice you make of value to you? What attracts your mind to it? What purpose does it serve? Here it is easiest of all to be deceived, for what the ego wants, it fails to recognize. It does not even tell the truth as it perceives it, for it needs to keep the halo which it uses to protect its goals from tarnish and from rust, that you may see how, quote, innocent it is. That's the part of us that always wants to be right. That's the part of us that will tend to find blame in another and even persecute another for as a testament to my own innocence. But what does all of that ever bring but guilt? And guilt demands punishment. Yet is its camouflage a thin veneer, which could deceive but those who are content to be deceived. Its goals are obvious to anyone who cares to look for them. Here is deception doubled, for the one who is deceived will not perceive that he has merely failed to gain. he will believe that he has served the ego's hidden goals. Yes, I talked about that a little bit already. These gestures, the blame game, is nothing but a camouflage, a thin veneer that maintains the deception and gives me the false impression of innocence. True innocence is seeing it in my brother. It's seeing it in all. Yet though he tries to keep its halo clear within his vision, still must he perceive its tarnished edges and its rusted core. His ineffectual mistakes appear as sins to him because he looks upon the tarnish as his own, the rust a sign of deep unworthiness within himself. He who would still preserve the ego's goals and serve them as his own makes no mistakes according to the dictates of his guide, the ego. This guidance teaches it is error to believe that sins are but mistakes, for who would suffer for his sins if they were so? And so we come to the criterion for choice that is the hardest to believe, because its obviousness is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. If you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goal to come between the real alternatives. And thus you do not recognize there are but two, only two. And the alternative you think you choose seems fearful and too dangerous to be the nothingness it actually is. It's talking about how the ego is so drawn to the wrong choice. It's drawn to the fearful choice, and we know it to be fearful because it always leads to guilt. All things are valuable or valueless, worthy or not of being sought at all, entirely desirable or not worth the slightest effort to obtain. Choosing is easy just because of this. Complexity is nothing but a screen of smoke, which hides the very simple fact that no decision can be difficult. What is the gain to you in learning this? It is far more than merely letting you make choices easily and without pain. All right, so on one level, we start to recognize as we make the one choice and let the guidance come through, the worldly choices will be made automatically for us. It's the choiceless choice. And the moment I start grinding and having difficulty on a decision is the very moment I want to step back and let him lead the way. And probably like me, you've had these experiences where that really works. You step back and give it a little space and have a little prayer, help me with this decision. And sometimes it can come in quickly and sometimes it needs time and space. Think about it. You know, if it doesn't feel good, maybe spirit needs a little more time to get the right characters in the right places and everything organized. And now, whoosh, everything drops into place and the decision is given. The choice is made almost for us. It's continual. I may walk down the sidewalk, but as I walk my feet forward, I'm continually putting the light out front in all that we do, all that I do. Far more than just getting rid of the pain of me having to make a choice. Heaven itself is reached with empty hands and open minds, which come with nothing to find everything and claim it as their own. We will attempt to reach this state today with self-deception laid aside and with an honest willingness to value but the truly valuable and the real, that which is eternal. Our two extended practice periods of 15 minutes each begin with this. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek, for only that do I desire to find. And then receive what waits for everyone who reaches, unencumbered, to the gate of heaven, which swings open as he comes. Should you begin to let yourself collect some needless burdens, or believe you see some difficult decisions facing you, be quick to answer with this simple thought: I will not value what is valueless, for what is valuable belongs to me. Already given. It's my yoga to gently remove the obstacles and barriers to it. That's the undoing of our yoga. It's the undoing of our practice that leads to the knowingness of heaven. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. Workbook lesson number 133. I will not value what is valueless. Thank you. Namaste.